Trying to Compete TV with our host, Corry, myself, Stacia from Strength and Grace Promotions. Hi, guys. And Victoria from Fit and Furious. We love seeing everybody. This is episode 5. Don't forget, you can always go watch any of the previous episodes on our YouTube channel. And today we are going to be doing, Corry, like usual, Corry's going to be chatting with Mike Davies from Mike Davies Fitness Factory. Thank you, Mike, for joining us. He is also the host of Rough, Rugged, and Raw podcast. I think there's over 240 episodes. Victoria is keeping us on time and managing all the cool swag our sponsors have. So if you are looking to get some of the swag, make sure you say hi in the chat, either here in Zoom or on the Facebook channel. That's how I find you. What else? Please say hello in chat, always. And I'm running all the things technology related, so both Facebook Live and the chats. Again, we've been having a lot of fun with you guys. I hope everybody's staying safe and happy at home. I know we all want to get out and get to the gym. Don't forget, next week we're going to have our NPC Virginia Mid-Atlantic Chairman Gary Udit joining us, so join us then too. And again, today we have with us Mike Davies, coach to the pros. Corry, Victoria, it is all you ladies.
Awesome. Well, since I know Mike very well, I'm going to be the mom of the group for a second and say, if you've got little ones around, go ahead and put your headphones on right now, because I guarantee you there's going to be some cuss words that are going to fly through here, because Mike is really real. So as always, we're going to start it again, because I see you when you're popping on Zoom. Let us know what you're eating. Share your meals, especially if you're getting ready for a show. Maybe you're eating some coronavirus crap that you shouldn't be eating. Put it in the chat. That lets us know that you're here. But we are just going to get started and get going. As I mentioned before, Mike was my coach when I started in the Nationals and got my pro card. And then 4 years ago, when I said I needed to come back after having kids, I reached out to Mike again. Victoria is Victoria's current coach. So, I mean, you know, we know this man well. I remember as a, first time competitor, I was scared to death of him. You send in your pictures, you're like, oh my God, what is he going to say? But we've got him here, and, we're just going to start. I'm sure the questions are going to come, so make sure you send those all in. But we're just going to start with Mike. As we know, he works with competitors and non-competitors. But first question for you, Mike, is just, what is it about the competitors that you love working with them?
I mean, every one of them's a different challenge, to be honest with you. I mean, I love a mental challenge. I'm about to challenge people physically and mentally and emotionally. And that's something that I just love to do. I mean, this is all I ever wanted to do since I was 12 years old. Literally, I started studying this craft when I was 12. So to be able to just get involved and touch people's lives and just push them on a path that they say they want to go down, it's rewarding, and it's challenging too, because I mean, you have battles with people. But you're battling, you're battling. It's like a war of wills. I mean, I'm trying to impose my will on you to make you do something that you say you wanted to do, and it's just to get them to understand this is the path. And Corry, it's so funny because 90% of the people who come to me right off the rip is like, hey, my name's so-and-so and I want to be an IFBB pro. And I just, I'm like, yeah, you and everybody else, and they think that that's some easy task. It's far easier now than it was when you were growing up, because I mean, they give out 70 pro cards at a show. Which I'm not here nor there. I mean, it's good for business. I get it. It makes everybody feel like they have a chance, but I think it's liquid. It's kind of, it's just, it doesn't mean as much. It's like everybody wants to just be an IFBB pro and put IFBB pro on their IG tag. I'm not down with that. I'm down. You know me. I'm down for the journey. I'm down. I love the hunt. Getting on stage is, that's the kill. The hunt is the part that I love the most. And I love people who are just open-minded, they put it out there, they put their faith in you, and you put your faith in them. It's a blind faith thing. I have faith you do what I ask you to do. You have faith that I know what the hell I'm doing. So, and when those two things come together, man, good things happen. You win overalls like Victoria, like Tony, and like you turn pro. I mean, back in the day when you were with me, you did shit to a T. You don't get that stuff anymore. There's so much more information out there now than there was before. And there's so much more bullshit. I mean, the social media with the Insta coaches and all that shit. I mean, if you got six-pack abs or if you've ever done a show, you can coach. And, back in the day, there was myself, Kimoto, Hani Rambat, Chad Nichols, guys like that. Charles Glass was still involved with a lot of competitors. There's so many now. People ask me all the time, so-and-so? I'm like, don't know who the hell that is. I don't care either. I could give two shits. I worry about the people that I'm responsible for. All right. I don't worry about what anybody else does. So I just love that interpersonal relationship that you can establish with somebody because they put that trust into you to get them to their goals. That's my favorite part of it. The hunt. I love the hunt. I love taking a person, like I can see who's popping on here. Like I got a guy on here right now named Tony. And he came to me and I was like, this dude, I right off the rip, just the way he acted, I just knew he was going to be, good. He hasn't even done his first show yet. He's been ready for the last 8 weeks. I guarantee if he took his shirt off right now, he's still peeled. I don't even have to worry about him. You know what I'm saying? I don't, because I know, he's doing what he needs to do. So those are the type of people and the type of relationships that I love. And that's what I do this for. And
I think with what you just said, I think that's key is, so people all the time, I hear them say, obviously, So You Want to Compete was designed for new competitors. Competitors always say, oh, I'm cheating on my diet and my coach doesn't know. How true is that? I mean, when people send pictures.
You need to have full disclosure with your coach. If you don't, then you know what? When you look like a fucking bag of donuts up there on the stage, don't blame your coach. Blame yourself. And, it's so easy for somebody to just, point the finger. No, that's not how this works. It's not how this works. I'm just like, listen, this is how this works. Okay. Like I said, it's a blind faith thing. Follow this path. We'll be good. We'll be good. We'll be good. Yes. Communicate. Have full disclosure. Yeah. People are going to mess up. People are going to cheat. My biggest thing about the cheaters and stuff like that, don't lie to yourself. Quit lying to yourselves. Okay. When you're a first time competitor, don't lie to yourself. Worse off, don't lie to your coach. Just don't. Just full disclosure. That way we can deal with it. If I know somebody's struggling and let's say they have a crutch, let's say somebody's a chocolate, lover or whatever. Okay, I'm going to get, I'm going to say, okay, well, what can I do to get this person from binge eating on chocolate? Well, I don't know. I'm going to give them a little 25-calorie diet hot chocolate every day with a heaping tablespoon of fat-free whipped cream or something. Because mentally, if they can make it to that, they'll be fine. But if I don't know, I don't know. So the full disclosure thing is really big. And I really need that to happen. I truly do.
I love that you mentioned that about everybody blaming their coaches. Because I think one of the best things I learned from you was give your coach a chance to fail you.
I've always said that. Give your coach, give me a chance to fail. Let's go through this process. And if you don't like what happens at the very end, okay. But you got to give your chance. A lot of people will come to me like late. They'll be, a month out. And they'll be, okay, this person looks like they're 8-10 weeks out. And they come, let's say they come to my posing clinic or whatever. I am not a poacher. Those guys that poach other people's clients are bullshit. I will never poach anybody. Okay. If somebody comes to me and they ask me my opinion at a posing, I said, that's not my place. Do I think you're ready? No, but you need to talk to your coach about it. Your coach, and you might be right where your coach needs you to be. I might not, that's not in agreement with that. So whatever, but you see this through. You make it to that show with that coach. Don't be jumping ship 3 and 4 weeks out on a guy. You don't know. Go ahead and see it through. And then at the end of that, if you don't like how you look or whatever, then sit down, talk to your coach and make a decision. All right. Don't be that person, okay, you're already going to get yourself a rep in this industry of being a trainer jumper, okay, because you won't go and speak to your guy or your girl. Just talk to them. All right. I mean, it sucks to lose clients, but we lose them every day. Kimoto and I used to set at shows back in your day. You know that. It was Kimoto and I, we had teams that warred at shows. I mean, we would go in there and sweep. If they had 16 pro cards went out, Kim and I might get 12 or 15 of them between the two of us. But, it's the same thing, though. We'd have girls who'd make, the third, the fourth, the last call out. And, we'd look at each other like, well, how many times are you going to get fired this week? Because it always just doesn't go the way you want it to go. And girls and guys don't place the way they think they should place. And ultimately, it's going to be your fault, whether it is or not. And, it's part of the business. But, you're lying to yourself because you'll see those same people who blamed you. They go to the next coach and guess what? They blamed him. And they go to the next coach and they blame the next coach. Guess what? The coach isn't the problem. You're the problem. You just got to realize that you're the fucking problem. And people have a hard time with that. This is a very selfish, it's a very selfish sport. So people sometimes just can't, they just can't stay in that reality zone with themselves. And you know what? I get that, Rob. Like you said, you were scared to death to send me those first set of pictures. You know why? Because you already knew I was going to tell you the truth. I'd be like, oh, man, you got a cute little frame from your waist up. Your ass is fat as hell, but, you know, the rest of you looks great. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have told you that. But some people, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to, dude, it's harder and harder to get people in this industry to want to hear the truth. But I'll tell you what, they'll excel twice as quick if you tell them the truth. And the truth just isn't popular at times.
Yeah, I think it's just everybody hears, you know, you go to the gym and somebody says, hey, you look great, you should compete. And they think that this is going to be a piece of cake and that it's going to be, you know, a walk in the park. And I think then, so a competitor that comes to you, I know there's a lot of them, they do it. They'll say, well, so-and-so, she did 2 shows and she got her pro card. And I've been struggling at this for this long a time and I'm not getting anywhere. Obviously, what you just said about them not doing the work, but explain to that new competitor that's saying, I don't understand why this person did 3 shows and got their pro card, probably in bikini, and I'm struggling so hard and I can't do this.
Well, it's time and place. And you've got to realize that it's time and place, number one. Number two, you got to understand that this is a journey. Okay, and I've always told people, listen, I'd rather see you toil in the amateurs longer. Because I've had girls strike fire and do like 1 show, qualify, go to North Americans and win the overall. I had a girl do that. A girl named Brianna did that. I was like, holy shit. She did 2 shows, you know, and guess what? She got invited to the Arnold, and guess what? She got blown off the stage at the Arnold, and guess what? She never competed again. Because a lot of times that happens because they're just tossed into it too quick. Don't be afraid to toil in the amateurs for a while and cut your teeth and develop. This sport is about developing not only your physique, but your, you know, I say this all the time about nationals. Let's say for nationals, the only way you get a pro card, Corey, you know that, to go through the pro qualifiers. Just because just because you qualified for nationals doesn't mean you're qualified to be there. Okay, and I've had girls who physically, I could throw on that national stage and know that they can hang, but emotionally, no. I know they can't. And I just don't do it. Don't go. You're not ready. You're not emotionally ready. And they get mad and they hate me for it, but I'm like, listen, I'm sorry this girl did 3 shows and turned pro. I don't know anything about this girl. She might be tough as nails or tougher than you or whatever. You are emotionally not ready. Because you know what? You want an overall, you want an overall, you want an overall. And guess what? You might go there and get your shit slapped. Okay? And get your ego just shattered. And I don't think you can handle that. You know? And I'll just be honest with them. Because I know a lot of girls that I deal with are physically ready, but they're not emotionally ready. So I try to keep them away from that. Okay, so you got to wait a year. This sport is about developing. You know, mind, body, and soul. You know that. How many people have you seen come and go like that? I've had over 100 people. I've turned 321 people pro, Corey. You were like pro probably in the hundreds. You were down in the hundreds. You were early. You, Becky Clausen, who was on last week, you know, you guys, like Becky was number 100. So that's how far back Becky goes. Okay, Becky, well, earmark 100. I knew Becky was 100. Were you before or after Becky? I think you were right after Becky, correct? The next
right before Becky.
Right before. I knew you guys were right there. So you're probably 80, 89. So you're early. Listen, I've had over 100 people turn pro and never step on a pro stage. That wasn't their goal. Their goal was to get a pro card. And then once they earned that, they just looked at looked what was above them, and they weren't ready to start over again. Because 9 out of 10 girls start over again. You go right back down to the bottom, almost like you're an amateur again. You know, bottom feeder, you're in the bottom, you're in the last call out. It's a names game, it's a development thing. And girls who turn pro quick, generally the pro judges know nothing of them. They have no name recognition, and therefore they kind of get lost in the shuffle. And in this day and age, they get upset, they get discouraged, and they're gone. And that sucks. I'd rather see them go and compete. Who cares if you won 10 shows? Listen, I competed as an amateur for 19 years. 19 years I competed from the time I was 19 until I was 38. 19 years I competed. For 14 of those years, I won a show. That didn't mean I was ready to go down. I never once competed at a pro qualifier. That wasn't my goal. And I didn't want to do what I needed to do to be competitive at that level. I just didn't want to gear up. I didn't want to do all the stuff I would have had to have done. But I enjoyed competing. So I wish people would, when you first get into the sport, try to fall in love with the competitive part of it. Okay? Don't go chasing trophies, man. Chase dreams. Quit chasing trophies, you guys. It's the worst thing you can do. Because if you don't make that top 5 and walk out of there with some hardware, guess what? 9 out of 10 of you are so disappointed that you really don't even want to go back. It takes that special person just like, okay, I see what I did wrong here. I could have done this better, this better, this better. I should have listened to my coach. What did I used to always tell you guys? Don't ever get on stage and say, what if? Man, what if I would have got up and done all my cardio? You know, what if I would have, done what they said? What if, and then, it's a totally different game when you can step on stage and do everything you knew you had to do or should have done. And okay, you weren't good enough today. That's the kind of person that is coming back and doing the show next year or doing the show 6 months from now, and it's going to be better.
Yep. I was going to chime in and say, I always know that I tell people backstage when we're back there with them is you beat you. You don't know who's going to show up on stage that day.
No, you can't control that at all. You can't control that at all. And people just don't realize that. Corry, you know this from back in the day. Tony, you know this. I'll roll into a show and I'll pick, I'm one of those people like, listen, if you're not ready to do a show at this level, you're not doing it. This is a beginner show. You're a beginner. Let's go do this beginner show. Let's compete apples to apples. Okay. I know the level of competition here. Let's get to this level of competition and see how you do. You know what? If you manage, you do well, and you're ready emotionally, then we'll step up. Same thing. If you're ready, you do well, you're emotionally strong, we'll step up. Take that. But, also, like I had a girl this year at the Ohio who had done like 2 or 3 shows. She had, and she'd done okay. She had placed in everything she did. She hadn't won a class or anything, but her potential was mad. Okay. She put it together for the Ohio this year and walked out on stage and boom. As soon as she walked out there, you knew she won. She was the winner. And she beat, another girl who had won 2 or 3 overalls. When, certain girls walk into certain shows, everybody's eyes light up and like, oh God, so-and-so's here, so-and-so's here. So what? Who gives a flying fuck? You're there for you. Compete against you first and foremost. And the second you start worrying about somebody else and following somebody else and what they're doing and their social media and you're talking about them, you're beat. They're already in your head. No other competitor or any person should be occupying space in your head when you're trying to compete. That is suicide. You are just killing yourself when you do that. I'm telling you. And you know what? Back in your day, Corry, we didn't have all this stuff. Tony, Victoria's man, Tony's been competing with me forever too. We didn't have all this. I never saw my competition before I got on stage with him. I saw him backstage and that was it. You didn't see people on social media and stuff. And half that shit's fake anyway. So you guys just need to just really hunker down and stay within yourself. I tell people all the time, go dark. Don't put yourself out on social media. Don't put your pictures out there. Let people wonder what you're looking like. Just don't do it.
Yeah. That's why I think so many of the coaches show up in the warm-up suits and the long warm-up suits so you can't see anything. I remember one of the first national shows I did with you, and I was freaking out because all the girls that were coming in, they had been winning national show. And then they called me out, and I literally had to look down at my number and be like, oh, crap, that's me. That's actually me that they're calling.
Yeah, well, I would have let you go if I didn't think you had that capability.
I know, us mental head cases when we're going through it. I'm going to segue for a second. We're going to turn it over to Victoria, and she's going to raffle off something.
Sweet.
Victoria, you have to unmute.
I'm sorry, I'm back. I was just listening to what Mike was saying, and actually from a personal experience from before Mike, I had 3 or 4 coaches, and only until I started working with Mike, I was all over the place. I was mess on every level. And Mike is right. Only once I got into mentality where it's you versus you, and I only want to be better version of what I was last on stage, that's when the overalls just started coming in, because there were girls that were bigger on stage, leaner. There were girls so lean and so big that in my mind, I knew that there's no way I can compete against those girls. But I just kept repeating to myself, it's just you versus you. Just do the best you. And I still can't believe I recall the time back when they called my name for overall, and I was looking around like, what is it, me? So it's really true. And after that, it really changed. Mike really changed my mentality, and his first priority is your health. if there's anything that's jeopardizing your health, he will not allow you to compete or damage your health. So with this being said, let's do our very first giveaway. And today we have our first sponsor is Willow Street Candle Maker. And there's 2 beautiful candles that are going to one lucky winner, and who that would be.
So you get to pick 1 through 50.
1 through 50. How about 26?
26. Hold on. Let me find the name. That would be Melissa Quasar.
Oh, I see her. She's right there. Hi, Melissa. Congratulations.
So Melissa, send me a message, private message with all your contact information, and we will get that out to you. And Corry, back to you, Mike.
Awesome. So I think that's a great thing to put up as we talk about like the overall package. I think, Victoria, I did the same thing. I would be backstage looking at girls' arms and being like, oh my God, their arms are so great. And it was always this whole overall package. And I think that's, we get it beat into our heads. Becky talks about it. Sandy talks about it. Gary talks about it. You hear everybody say it's the overall package that shows up. But I think, we don't necessarily always think about that. And I think that mental aspect is really such a key component of it that I don't hear enough coaches talk about it. So as we start this next segment.
Or they don't talk about it because they don't understand it.
Well, so what I would say is, can you talk to just people listening, given our current climate and our current situation, what would you say to people that are just like, oh my gosh, now I can't do anything because they're canceling everything and they're mentally not handling what's going on right now?
Do you want to know what I said to a couple of I have a couple, I love this couple dearly. It's Mikkel and Beth. They're down in Kentucky. They live on a farm. They're kind of all by themselves out there. Do you want to know what I said to them this morning when they told me they've been kind of depressed and just kind of blah? I said, Put a couple little lip-wristed sissies and fucking put on your big boy panties and let's go. All right, come on. I mean, this is the time. Like I said, this is the time that you could be excelling. You could get to learn. You get to learn a lot about yourself in these types of situations. You really do. You get to find out what kind of mettle you have. If this is the toughest thing that you've ever been through in your life, I get it. But man, are you blessed? You're blessed. You were shoved in your homes to hang out with your family or your kids or your loved ones or your spouse or whatever and like really try to get to know each other again. I mean, Julie and I might see each other for 90 minutes a day at the end of a long day, and I understand that I kind of upset things when I come into the house and I'm the one that's not here. All the action for our family happens at the gym and the kids come to the gym, she comes to the gym, but like actual home time, it's maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours a day. So, I mean, you're blessed to be in this situation, learn a little bit about yourself. And when it comes to your health and fitness, man, learn about it. There's so many options right now. Like I'm doing Zoom classes. That shit's saving my life. I mean, I do 4 of them. I started by doing like 1. And then it was like, oh, this is pretty good. I'm doing 2. Now people are like, can we do legs? I'm like, yeah. What about shoulders and arms? I'm like, hell yeah. So now I'm doing 4. I'm doing 4 of them a week. And it's saving me because mentally, Corry, I get to see people on the screen. I'm doing them via Zoom. And it's like my lifeline right now. I had one of my little clients, Hannah D'Amico. She's a teacher and stuff. And I'm sure she's doing Zoom with the kids. And she was like, hey, Mike, you should look into this. And Julie had said that to me before, too. She's like, you just need to get on Zoom or do something. And then, Hannah said it. And she's like, I'll set it up or I'll help you. Well, I talked to her. I started it. And, it's kind of it's saving me mentally. Because I'm a people person. I'm out there. I'm at the gym every day. I see hundreds and hundreds of people every day. I train 100 people a day. So to go from that to like nothing, I'm the type that's going to get depressed real quick. But that literally has saved me. And I've had to, and I figure I'm in a leadership position, man. If I get down, man, everybody's going to get down. Everybody I'm associated with, everybody who I'm doing nutrition for or whatever, they're going to bitch up too. I'm not going to bitch up. So there's my advice. Don't bitch up. Just don't. Come on. Find out a little bit about yourself. Try new things. Experience new things. I've had so many new faces come on my Zoom stuff and love it. It's like, oh my God, this is kicking my ass. Well, I've been doing this shit for 27 years. Let's go. Welcome. Come on. If you can't beat us, if you can't beat us, hate us. If you can't hate us, join us. Let's go. That's the way I look at it.
People watching are asking if they want to join into your Zooms, what equipment is needed?
Listen, I have a boot camp. I got a cardio abs and ass. You need absolutely nothing. Okay, I do a leg day. If you have dumbbells or bands, okay, we can incorporate them. We can take the intensity, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. I could murder you in a phone booth. I promise. Corey, you've been here enough. You know that. Okay, you definitely know that. Tony knows it too.
Everybody's nodding their heads yes.
Yeah, you know what? I can put you in a phone booth with nothing. And then I have I just did a shoulders and arms this past week, and I said, you know what? If you got a band or dumbbells or a barbell, you're fine. So I did the whole workout with dumbbells, and Julie stood beside me and incorporated the band. So if you had any adjustments or anything with the band, you had a sample of doing it. It's been great, and the response has been fantastic. So, I'm indebted to Hannah for, kind of pushing me over that ledge and doing it, because I'm not, I'm not that comfortable doing some of that stuff. You would think I would be, but I've never been, I jumped on the internet highway real quick, but I was real resistant to the Facebook and IG and all that other shit. I really was. I always called it fake book. What is fake book? Of people putting their fake lives up and shit, But, now it's a necessary evil, and I'm jumping on board, and I'm telling you, it's saving me mentally.
I think that's a key for extroverts. Extroverts are going crazy because they can't see people. They can't get out. I told my entire family, I told my husband, I said, you're not going to the grocery store. I'm going to the grocery store. I have to be the one to get out, just because I am the person that needs people. My husband is in our guest bedroom, in his office, having phone calls all day. He's perfectly fine. But for the extroverts of the world, it's really challenging.
I've been to the store more in the last 4 weeks than I had been in the last 22 years. No lie. Julie does all that stuff. I don't do any of that. I literally have been there more in the last 4 weeks than I have in the last 22 years. Just to get the hell out. I don't care. I'm risking it. I'm that guy that's in there, no gloves, no mask or nothing, and everybody's kind of looking at funny, and I'm like, what? I'm not afraid, whatever. I'm not too convinced that this is what everybody thinks it is anyway. And you know what? We're healthy. And the fact that they've shut the gyms down and they've taken this whole genre of people and suppressed us is bullshit. We should be exploding right now because we are healthy. We do know how to take care of ourselves. Our culture is good hygiene, good nutrition, supplement, that help, the vitamin C, the zinc, and all that other stuff. We're the people who do that. So we're the lowest at risk, in my opinion, and I'm in my 50s, and I'm not concerned one bit. I'm just not. Maybe I shouldn't be that way, and maybe somebody's like, oh, you should be. I'm like, no, I'm not. Because we are the types that take care of ourselves. We're not the compromised. We are definitely the exception. Only 2% of all Americans work out, which means avidly work out, do something more than twice a week. And that could be bowling, that could be anything physical, let alone lifting weights and going to a gym. We are definitely in, rare air to do what we do.
There's some scientific studies that are coming out right now when they're surveying the population too, is finding out that those that have been physically fit are not showing up as testing positive. So I think there's a lot backing up in terms of science that they're showing in terms of that. So let's go on to some of the fun stuff that probably everybody wants to know since we brought you on board. And of course, my number one question is, what are your biggest pet peeves when you're working with clients? And especially because most everybody turning in is competitors. So what are your biggest pet peeves with working with them?
Non-disclosure. Just not telling your coach from the get-go. I mean, that is the one thing, don't tell them your background, you're in trouble. Don't tell them what you will and will not eat. Going ahead and making your own changes and kind of taking what somebody gives you and morphing it into something that works for you. I can't stand it, because that's an episode. That's just a concoction for a failure right there. I don't know because you're not telling me. That's probably my biggest pet peeve. My second biggest pet peeve would be just that mentality. I got to win. So many people come to me and they're like, I want you to be my coach, but you understand I have to win, right? And I'm just like, well, I don't decide that. I don't. It goes back to what Victoria said. You got to compete you against you. And, I've never once coached somebody to win. I've never once said, you know what, we got to do this. We got to win. Never once. But I'll tell you what, I've had so many winners over the years, thousands. I've been doing this for a long time. I turned my first girl pro in 97. Jenny Hendershot and then Adela and those girls, 1997. Never once trained somebody to win. I train them to be the best they can be. And if that means winning, awesome. Next, let's go to the next thing. Just like this, people got to change that mentality, because you're gonna face disappointment in that. If that's all you care about, it's gonna end up bad. Again, fall in love with the hunt, not the kill. Fall in love with the hunt, because then the kill will come. You know, you get good at the hunt, then you'll be killing it on stage. You know, two of my biggest pet peeves. And then, you know what, another thing is like, when people come to you and say, well, I was on the internet and I saw this. I was following somebody's IG and I saw this girl did this or this. You know what I say? I stop them right in their tracks and they go fucking train with that person. Okay, go ask that person. I'm sure they've done far more in this industry than I have. I'm sure they've had 12 Miss Olympias and turned 321 people pro. Go be with them, because she has six-pack abs and she got third place at a show. You're sitting there questioning, people who are going to question people who actually know stuff in the sport or have a legacy in the sport or have the pedigree in the sport to back up the way they've done stuff. You know, Corey, I've been around a long time. I've had, like I said, I should say it more. Like Julie, we have a shirt. I think we're giving one away today, Victoria. It says tradition on it. And on the back of it, it has stats. And I've had 31 people win overalls at pro qualifiers. I've had, I don't know how many, I think I've had 10 national champions in Canada, probably 9 here in the States. You know what I'm saying? And people still all the time are like, why would you work with him? He didn't know what he's doing. Really? I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I have a pedigree there. There's a pedigree to show it. You're one of them. You're one of 321 people that snagged a pro card working with me. Come on. That's like me saying Kim Odo doesn't know what he's doing. Kim's my close friend. I would never disrespect Kim ever. But all these new coaches and shit, this is a pet peeve of mine. They disrespect the fuck out of us guys. I'm like, dude, what have you ever accomplished? You've turned 2 people pro and you're out here talking shit. Shut up. Social media gives them all a platform just to talk shit. Go ahead and turn a bunch of people pro and have a bunch of Miss Olympias and do all that stuff, and then pound your chest a little bit more. And we can all say, hey, good job. You know? I don't get jealous of those guys. I don't, but I've had so much hate and so much envy towards me over the years. It's just, to me, it's disgusting, man. Worry about you. I don't worry about you. I don't let you occupy space in my head. You can talk all the smack you want. You better back it up, though. I better see results. I better see people out here killing it, because, the way you talk, I mean, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's just not true.
I think sometimes people want it to be easier. They think the other coach has got it easier. It's going to be an easier solution over there. Well, and good. You make them work hard. So
that's my next point. That's perfect. Yeah. When was it that you went to the gym because you didn't want to work hard? It's like now it's trendy to macro diet, eat shit all day, and do less cardio or whatever. Okay, if that's what you want, okay, macro dieting works. Weight Watchers has been doing that for 60 years. Okay, but like I just wrote a thing on my app last night. Like people were asking me about these macro caps. People waiting all day and not eating their calories, and at the end of the day, they have 1,200 calories left, and they eat these monstrosity meals like cereal with chocolate syrup and all kinds of crazy shit. I'm like, well, what's that doing to your body? I mean, what's that doing to your, what's that doing to you metabolically? Okay, you're probably malnourished because you went all day and worked all day and you ate 800 calories, and now you're going to eat, 800 in one meal or whatever. I don't understand that mentality. And for me, like Victoria said, is your health is my number one priority. And that's, not only physically, but mentally. And I think a lot of that leads to, like eating disorders. But, they say everybody's always like, oh, you bro dieters. Like I'm supposedly a bro dieter. I'm not a bro dieter. I'm very diverse. Look, there's a million ways to skin a cat. I know about 999,000 of them. I'd use tons of different techniques to diet somebody down or to work with them. And these people they don't care. They're just brash. And they promote this way of eating, and they glorify it. And they glorify, oh, we don't do any cardio. And well, you don't do any cardio, then what are you doing? You're just starving yourself? I don't understand. What's the key here? And then I see a lot of these kids and I feel bad for them because, after a while, at first it works pretty well, but after a while, they start looking malnourished, and then their hair starts breaking off, and you see all the little signs. They've got, I call it macro pooch. They got that lower ab distension from all those alcohol sugars. And I get it. It is glorified. But like I said last night in my rant, I said, you know what, doing cocaine for weight loss was great in the 80s too. I'm an 80s kid. A lot of people were doing cocaine. All these girls would get coked up and lose weight. I mean, it's craziness. It's absolutely, to me, it's craziness. And I just, like I said, your health's my number one priority. So I just can't go that route. I can't say it's okay at 10 o'clock at night for you to sit down and eat a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch with chocolate syrup on it and whipped cream and throw some, butterscotches in it or whatever. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it.
So that leads perfectly into then, what do you consider a cheat meal? And do you give them to your athletes? Is that part of the plan? What do you use them for?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, cheat meals are a good part of it. Cheat meals are more mental than physical. Okay, there's a time where you needed that. It's physical. Okay, but if I can give somebody a cheat meal mentally, it just gets them to the next thing. If I can say to somebody, listen, hit this 100%. Let's see what happens here. We're going to cheat meal in 3 weeks. And they'll focus on that. They'll be like, okay, I can do anything for 3 weeks, and boom. But you've got people that you have to give them a cheat meal every week, every week. I was talking about that one dude, Tony. I mean, I got to the point where, Tony gets a cheat meal just about every week because he's peeled, he's ready. Now we got to maintain him. But you know what? Some people are very resistant to doing that. They don't understand that. They don't understand, well, how's that going to help me? Well, it is. It's definitely going to help you. It's going to, it's going to relight your fire. Don't be afraid to do it when it's a time to do it. Cheat meals with me are earned. They're earned. But then you've got to also know the mental aspect. You got to know each person individually. I know if I can give this person this meal, they're going to go the next week for me, no problem. They're going to go the next 2 weeks for me, no problem. And that's an individual thing. A cheat meal is definitely a tool to use for sure. But you hear this refeed. Oh, I have my refeed day. Your refeed day? Well, shit, you ate 5,000 calories? That's a refeed? That's a big refeed. How malnourished were you to need 5,000 calories to bring you back up to a base level? I don't know. I'm not trying to do that. I'm a micronutrient guy. I can give you something that's got 1,200 calories that has more nutrients in it than somebody who's eating 2,300. Because what they're eating is garbage and it's not nutrient dense. So everything I try to do is nutrient dense. I don't just want a protein. I want the best proteins. Okay, that's why I'm heavy on flounder or roughy or, fish and eggs. I mean, that's the best protein source there is, eggs. It's just the way it is. And I'm not going to change what I've done this long. I just evolve and keep getting better and better at it because the research keeps getting better and better at it. The access to food is better and better. That's all. You can't tell me that a serving of cream of rice and 2 Pop-Tarts are the same thing. Their macro content is pretty damn near straight on. I think one's 37 grams of carbs, the other one's 36. You're going to tell me they're the same? They're not the same. You're going to tell me your body ingests and use them and digests them the same? They don't. You can't convince me of that. There's no way you can convince me of that. And I bang up on the macro dieters like they bang up on us, the micro dieters. Macro dieting works to lose weight. It does. Absolutely. It's input versus output. If I'm 165 pounds and I want to be 150 pounds and I put this formula into somebody else's calculated, program and it spits out, 100 grams of protein, 300 carbs and 40 grams of fat and it works for me, then it works. But what is that doing to you biologically? What is that doing to your health? I don't know. You can macro diet and choose healthy foods like what we eat. No problem. That's the best way to macro diet, in my opinion. It sure is. But you don't have to have accountability. You don't do things for time. You can work out and be like, I'm just going to have a protein shake after I work out. Okay, you just expelled all that glycogen. You just took in 200 calories and 30 grams of protein. How's that going to help you recover? See, I don't understand that. I don't understand how they can explain that away. I don't. Maybe they could. But I'm not even interested in hearing it, to be honest, because it's not going to change what I do.
You just answered we had a question that came in and they were asking, do you lean more towards meal plans versus target macros per meal? I can tell you that anyone that's ever worked with Mike can tell you it is, you're going to eat this and this and this and this, and it's very detailed out. It's never have 30 grams of carbs of your choice because competitors.
I've had a lot of macro dieters come to me and at first they struggle because what they want to do is they want to interchange stuff. And I'm just like, it doesn't work that way. Everything I put on your plan has a purpose. And it's based on digestion and what we needed to do for you versus your schedule and your output. So listen, no, I don't want you to change this meal here because this is the meal that's providing your energy for your workout 4 hours from now because of the digestion of it. You know, I need you to do this. Don't switch meals up on me either, because that doesn't work. You know, there's certain rules that you have to put, and you have to have your due diligence if you're going to diet like we do. Okay. And a lot of people they love the structure of it. Some people don't, they hate it. They just want to do what they want to do. And if they meet this, they feel good about it. But I was getting to the point was I've had a lot of macro dieters come to me who have found themselves going towards obsessiveness. I got to hit my numbers. You know, staying up until midnight to hit their numbers, or, you know, doing crazy things just to hit their numbers. They know that what a bad choice is. Well, I'm at the end of my day, like the macro cap thing. I'm at the end of my day and I still have 60 grams of carbs and 30 grams of fat. So I'm going to eat some, you know, cinnamon toast crunch and some, you know, some of this and that, and throw a scoop of protein in it. And then I'm going to go to bed on that. You know, a lot of them know that, okay, that didn't work for me. So they move over to somebody who's just going to dictate to them. You know, and that's why I say your health's my number one priority. Okay, if I'm handling what you're putting in your body, then I better be on point with it. You know, I worked with Becky Clausen for 14, 15 years. Becky was on the show last week. You know, Becky came to me and she was damaged goods a little bit. She had eating disorders and stuff. So Becky was the type of girl who, if you just put it out in front of her, it was her safe zone. She could go from meal to meal to meal as long as she knew what she was doing. Boom, boom, boom. Lay it out to her, lay it out to her, lay it out to her. And she could follow it. Anybody who's ever had an eating disorder generally works better that way. I truly have found that, because a lot of the girls who have come over to me, and guys too, who have had some issues with that, seem to respond really well to the dictation of what they eat. They don't want to think about it. They don't. They don't want to think about it. Just be a robot. And people are like, oh, that's stupid. You know, you should think for yourself. Not if you don't have a knowledge of it. That's what I say. It's a blind faith thing. You trust that I know what I'm doing. I trust that you do what I ask you to do. Where, well, us micro dieters, we have our issues too, because you feel deprived. You know, well, man, this person's over there eating, you know, jelly beans and shit, and I'm eating Brussels sprouts. Well, okay, I'm sorry, but the thing I've always said was, you know, right now we're eating for function, not for form. We're eating for your function, for your body to function and perform. Last time I checked, I thought we were all athletes. I don't know. Are we not athletes? So you need to perform in the gym in order for you to look the way you want to look on stage. Am I correct? So why wouldn't we put foods in our body that are going to, you know, give us maximum performance in order to have a maximum look that they're going to reward on stage and keep us healthy? Corry, you were never once unhealthy with me, ever. Your total package was beauty. Your skin was beautiful. Your hair was beautiful. You were never the leanest, never had the biggest shoulders, never had the most developed legs or back. It didn't matter. You had the total package. I used to beat girls all the time. I tell people all the time, it's the total package once it gets out there. And then it's that presentation. So all you newbies out there, if you think you're just going to get your ass in shape and then go up on stage and win, you're not. Okay? Because there's going to be some girl backstage that you're looking at and you're not even worrying about. And then she's going to get out stage and she's going to out-present you like nobody's business. I've taken so many girls with lesser bodies and won with them because they knew how to present the body that they have. And that's one thing that you, for those of you who want to get into this, find somebody who knows what they're doing, learn how to pose, okay? And remember that getting your body in shape it's not even half of the game. It isn't. I mean, you got to have everything right. Your suit needs to be right. Your colors need to be right. You know, your suit versus your skin tone versus your hair color. I mean, all the little things, you have to be polished when you step out on that stage. And my goal, Corry, for anybody who's new in this industry is like the first time you get on stage, it doesn't look like it's your first time. Like I've had girls win overalls in their very first show. And that's my goal. I don't want anybody to look like it's their first show. You got to have polish up there. You're going to go up against competitive and seasoned people. You won a pro card because you were the most polished. You were the most complete. And that's how the sport should be.
Well, that's a perfect segue to Victoria, because our next giveaway actually helps with everything with skincare.
Thank you, Corry. Yes, just the same way as Willow Street, the homemade soy candles. Our second sponsor is Camila Skincare. She makes all her products at home. There's no chemicals, there's no preservatives, everything is natural. Her coffee scrub is perfect to exfoliate your skin right before the show. And then the body butter is amazing. You can use it right after the show, after you scrub your skin, and it just leaves your skin soft, and it's amazing. You almost want to eat it, and I'm sure you probably can because there's literally no chemicals in this product. And this will be going to a Lucky Winner.
We're going to do Facebook this time, 1 through 24, even though we've got 50 plus people on together.
1 to 24. How about number 1?
Number 1, that's awesome. So I scroll all the way back up. That is Rosemary Lettertree Hamilton. So Rosemary, make sure you message me and I'll send it back to you guys.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to answer a couple of these questions that are coming in, Mike. One of them says, how long do you think it takes to bring up a lagging body part or to achieve better balance, and how do you go about that?
I mean, it depends on the individual. You know that. Effort's everything. But like people I know that are like, I call it incomplete. I tell you, we just got to fill in the blanks. You got a great little physique. We just need to fill in the blanks. My rule of thumb is about 8 months. I mean, if we can take a period of 8 months and get you healthy and get your weight up, and doing it the right way, not gaining 30 pounds and bringing 27 of it be fat, okay? Lean, natural gains over like an 8-month period, and then diet back down, you should have a resounding difference if you know what you're doing. And that's a big thing. It's a big deal if you know what you're doing, and you got to be patient. Stripping the body down is easy compared to building the body up. It takes time to build it, and it takes time to build it right, and people are impatient. I tell them all the time, this is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Okay, if you got lacking body parts, you've got to understand that it is going to take time. And you know what? Your off season has to be as diligent as your prep. It just does. You have to make sure that you get these nutrients in your body every day. You got to make sure that you get your sleep. You got to make sure you get your water and stuff. I can't stand when clients of mine, they'll be heavy 3 months, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, and do everything they're told to do, and then they disappear. And then they get back with me when it's time to diet. Well, what the fuck you been doing for the last 8 months or 6 months? What have you been doing? Because I don't know what you've been doing. And then we diet down and, oh, wow, you look the same. I wonder why. Because you aren't productive. So don't be afraid to take that time, that period of time. Now I say 8 months. That's 8 months is for somebody who wants to do it right and work their ass off and make every day count in the gym and still make meals count. Yeah, live life. Yes, do the things that you want to do. But if you're truly, wanting to be a part of the sport and wanting to improve, it has a sacrifice. You sacrifice to be in. This is a martyr sport. I tell people that it's a martyr sport. If you think this is going to be easy, you're going to get away with not sacrificing anything, go do something else because that's not going to happen here.
I think you're right. I think I took an entire year when I was first introduced to you. I took an entire year, and
you were straight up and down. Remember, you had abs.
I had abs.
You had abs in a butt.
I was always there for the abs.
You had abs in a butt sitting on cylinder legs. But you know what? And as soon as you got that width and you got them shoulder caps and it completed your physique, you already had the beauty. I can't teach face. Sorry, you can't. And it took time. It took a year. Okay, well that paid off. How long did you turn pro? 2 years?
My first year working with you, we had done, since I was doing national shows, we did 4 national shows and I placed in the top 5.
Right.
And then I was doing fitness because I was doing fitness and figure. And then that last one was November Nationals. And then I remember you said to me, you go, okay, we're not going to do anything until, at that time it was Teen Universe. Becky and I both always call it Team Universe. We can't get around NPC Universe these days.
Yeah.
But you're like, we're not going to do anything till July. And I remember freaking out and going, what do you mean we're not going to do anything till, why are we not competing until July? And you said, I guarantee you, we're just going to go into July. We're going to put everything into that show. And, I remember it was that show that I did. I competed for the overall because I got my pro card. And then the girl, she won the overall, but when it came back down to it to go to Spain and represent the U.S., she didn't want to go. And so they called me up and they said, you were the second overall. So, it was one of those, you just said, we're going to take a whole year off because that's what you need. And, that's what it did. And I think
you were willing to listen. And a lot of kids aren't willing to listen to that because they're impatient. You got to be patient in this sport. It takes time. Victoria's man, Tony, and I have been doing this together for 16 years. Steady for 16 years. Tony's evolved immensely. You know, we went on this show last year. He smoked everybody at age 50 something. You know, it's, you know, I've got, you know, people like that, you know, who understand that. I just took a couple, Nancy and Mike Micharello. I love this couple. I mean, they'd work with other people. And when they came to me, I thought they were unhealthy, string beans. You know, I thought they were over dieted, definitely dehydrated. And I told them, I said, let's take the next 6 months to a year and see what it looks like. And, you know, we evolved. And both of them showed up on stage again, like 8 months later. And I was like, wow, you know, I was just impressed. Nancy just did the Arnold. She just did the Masters and the Open at the Arnold. And I mean, shit, she looked like she's 25 years old. And she, you know, she's approaching 50. So I know she's not approaching 50. She might be a little bit younger than that. She might be 40. But still, I mean, but they had the patience to do what they needed to do to change their physiques. And you have to have patience in this sport. You just do. Period. You said you had some other questions? I'm ready. Hit them.
So how often should someone plan to compete? And what do you think is too many times to compete in a year?
You know what? I don't have a number on that because I was one of those people that once I got in shape, like, and I'm in shape, I'm going to go compete. All right. You know, my wife, Julie, did 11 shows in 1 year. And I tell you what, that made her tough as nails because it was fitness. So as an amateur, she went out and did 11 shows on a calendar year and just boom, boom, just knocked them out, won a bunch of overalls. And then it was like off to USA's, won a pro card. As long as you're healthy, you can compete. What happens is that, you know, you start getting into that yo-yo mentality a little bit. You go out and do a show so you can just eat for the next 2 days. And, you know, people start getting into that and, you know, they start breaking down and getting unhealthy. And once you get to that curve, it's over for you. You should stop. You know, you got to know when to stop. And people don't. I see so many people that, you know, oh, man, you were out there too long. Because they were. You know, back in your day, you remember how girls used to go from show to show to show to show at the national level because you were afraid you're going to miss your window. Oh, man, I was fourth here. If I just show up at this show next week, I could, you know, if I make top 2, I get a pro card. And people really push for that. I remember taking all you girls one time. I remember going to Team U, and Becky will remember this. There was 10 girls that stayed in one room at the Embassy Suites. 10 of them in one room because they were all right there. They all knew that, you know, this could be my day. You know, I think ultimately that was Becky's weekend that she got a pro card. I think I had 5 or 6 other girls get a pro card that weekend. But they had gone to USA's the weekend before. I mean, they were running out of money. They were running out of time, so they felt like they had to go. Had any of them not been healthy, physically or mentally, I would not have let them go. What I hate is all these people that gear up and they do one show, and then I'm just going to wait till next year. Okay, you did one show. 3 weeks is another show. What can we do in the next 3 weeks to get better? You know, because your body might have been there. Your head wasn't there. You weren't right in your head. You weren't ready emotionally. Now you know what you're doing. So let's get out there and do it again. I'm one of those people that, you know, once you get ready, let's go out and compete. As long as you're healthy, physically and mentally, you should stay out there and hit your all 3 or 4 shows. Quit doing this one and done bullshit. That doesn't work. I'm telling you. If you want to make a name for yourself in this industry, go out and compete. I had a girl last year, her name's Shelly Wilkes. She has a killer mentality. She went out, I think she won her class in 4 shows and won 2 overalls, and then went to nationals and finished 12th. Okay, shut her down, boom, let her do an off season. Let's change her physique a little bit more. So when she gets back out there at the USA's in 15 weeks, she should be improved. But you know what? She's out there competing. Every time we went to a show, people knew who she was. Oh God, there's that one girl. That girl won 2 overalls. Okay, that's the way it should be. You know, try to improve, go, you know, and just because you weren't the judge's flavor at this show doesn't mean you're not going to be a little bit more of their flavor at the next show. Go out and compete in different areas and let different judges see you. And and go back and let some of the same judges see you and watch you improve. Judges love to see kids improve. They do. And they'll mention it. You know, Becky's a really good judge. I'm going to blow Becky for a second. Becky used to sit beside me at my posings every Saturday and just listen to everything I had to say. And then I would start drilling her. Give me your top 5. I was just like a head judge to her and just let her cut her teeth. I mean, I think Becky sometimes is a better bodybuilding judge than I do a bikini. I agree with her bodybuilding stuff sometimes more than I agree with her bikini. Yeah, because we have different strokes for different folks, and that's fine. I'm all about that. But she learned how to judge sitting there with me at these posing classes and stuff. And she was one of those girls that would go out and do 4 or 5 shows in a year. You know, you need to go out and compete. These guys are all one and done. It pisses me off. I think it's weak as fuck. That's my opinion.
Okay, we've got one last question, I think, and then one more question that came in is, what is the importance of body fat, and actually a specific body fat for competitors?
It depends on what sport you're doing, to be honest with you. Like, you know, you can't maintain a low body fat over a long period of time. Generally, it's not healthy in some ways. Again, that goes to the individual. I mean, if you're a mesomorph, an endomorph, an ectomorph, you're different anyway. You know, some people are going to have a propensity to carry more body fat than others. And I will say this, when you let's say you take a mesomorph, you get them down, you get them lean. Generally, those will be bodybuilder types. Their body's more comfortable at that heavier weight. And a lot of times they're going to go right back up to that, you know, and that's where they're comfortable. And as long as they prove that they can come down and go back up and do it healthy, they'll be fine. You know, ectomorphs, you have to watch them. They're going to be thin. They're going to be, you know, they're going to be the hard gainers, you know, and they're going to be lean. You know, there's an acceptable, healthy amounts of body fat is based on your person. You know, I've seen people that walk around it. Like when I competed, I walked around a year round at like 6 or 7% body fat. I was always lean. Just walked around, you know, I always had abs. I was always lean, but I was healthy. You know, I didn't have to force anything to be there. I have a 19-year-old son that walks around like that right now. Anytime I can tell Trent, dude, take your shirt off. Let me see what you look like. He'll take his shirt off and look like an anatomy chart. He literally did shows this year and never dieted. We joke around about it. His first show, he might have dieted for maybe 3 days. Because the Wednesday before the show, he was asking me Dad, do you think I should eat a pizza? What? You know, and I really kind of had to laugh. And Julie was mad. I was like, you're not teaching him anything. I'm like, teaching him what? He didn't need to teach him anything. The dude's going to walk out there peeled and win his first show. Guaranteeing he was peeled. He was 165 pounds. He had shredded glutes and everything. And that was just who he was. He didn't have to try to. I mean, he worked out extremely hard and he was a great athlete. And that's why he was built that way. And he can walk around like that and be healthy every day. Is it healthy for a girl to constantly, you know, maintain a super lean physique or a stage ready physique? Absolutely not. You know, get yourself to respectable levels of body fat where, you know, things are working. You are still maintaining your cycle, because, you know, those are markers for your health. You know, I tell people all the time, I can look at somebody and know, you're not healthy. Your hair's not healthy. I mean, the first thing I go on a girl's hair. Man, hair tells a lot about a girl. It does. You know, your hair and your skin. A lot to be told in your hair and skin. You can tell somebody's, you know, pushing that envelope too much. And never be afraid to get back to that comfortable level of body fat. You know, it's different for every individual. You can't just say, oh yeah, be 7 to 9% on stage and be 14 or 15%. Oh, no, you can't pigeonhole somebody like that. You know, be where you feel you're most comfortable, physically and mentally. Mentally too. Don't forget that. Because you girls who are going to gain 30 pounds in an off season and shit, and then hate yourself, and then body shame yourself, and then cover up and wear big baggy clothes and all that shit. You know, I've always been an advocate of, like, if you don't like what you see in the gym, you're going to complain about it, then cover it up. All right. But only you know at to what level is that mentally starting to tax you. Okay. The amount of body fat. It's got to go both ways. You can't be too low year round, or, you know, basically, you know, if you're not competing, you shouldn't be walking around thinking you need to look stage ready. And so many girls get caught up in that. And that's taboo. You're going to overtrain. You're probably overtraining. You're probably undernourishing, and you're probably looking for trouble down the road. So you want to avoid that. But then again, you know, come on, man, don't bust up the 30% body fat, because to bring that back down is brutal, and you know it. You know it. You got heavy one time in your whole life, once.
Me?
Yeah. Would you think you one time where you got to where you were uncomfortable?
I think there's been more than once. But yeah.
Probably when you called and said, you know what, I'm going to do something about this, and you got your shit back in shape, right?
Yeah.
And you've yet to go back up there, correct? You learned your lesson. You learned your lesson. You know what it did to you physically and mentally, period. Okay, Victoria, she's up there too. You know, Victoria, she'll take my thumb and put it on her a little bit once in a while and be like, yeah, you better press that down. Because, you know, some people are just, you know, their bodies are just more comfortable being thick. You know, but mentally, you're not more comfortable with that. And you got to balance the physical with the mental. You truly do. Because, this sport, I mean, yeah, I'm telling you, it's a grind. It's a mental and physical grind. I just think the mental aspect sometimes is tougher than the physical.
I think you're right. I think that's definitely it. It's that the mental capacity of it for some people. I think the one other thing you always taught me is that it had to be fun. So if it's not fun, get out of it. That's what I tell new competitors all the time. If they are complaining about everything, I'm like, well, then this isn't the sport for you. You need to get out of this. If you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying it, then be done with this.
I've written articles and stuff on sites and stuff. It's like, listen, man, when your life's falling apart because you're competing, man, you need to stop and check yourself. Okay, so when your personal relationships are bad, things at work are bad, people who truly love you and care about you basically unconditionally, like your family, are coming to you constantly and telling you they don't like who you are or whatever, you need to step back and you need to take a long look at yourself and say, is this who I am, or is this who I am because I'm trying to compete? And then you got to find a balance in all that. And if you don't, I tell people all the time, you're going to be awful lonely standing there with that first place trophy because nobody's going to give two fucks because you ruined everything to get there. And you don't want to do that. Nobody wants to do that. And I've had girls do that. I've watched girls' lives fall apart over a trophy. You gonna let your life fall apart over a $7 plastic trophy? Come on, stop. Stop yourself before you get that mental about it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm that kind of coach to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Because you know what? You're treating your husband like shit. Your kid's over here, you're dying for your attention. And you're so obsessed about this. And you guys get obsessed. A lot of competitors are obsessive. That's what makes them good competitors. They're type A's. They get obsessive compulsive about it and they go, 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 go. But they're leaving carnage in their wake. And you guys, you can't do that. You new competitors, man, don't throw everything in it. Do not. Give it your 100%, give it your effort, but don't forget about the people who are supporting you and tolerating you and helping you get there. Because when you lose their support, man, it's lonely. It's real lonely at the top when you're standing there with that first place trophy with nobody to share it with. It truly is. I've seen it so many times. And I try to get people to just understand that. I'll check them. I'm that guy. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Come on, stop.
I think that's a great segue for really ending up everything that we've got here. I thank you so much for coming on and being a part of this and talking to everybody. One thing that we definitely want to do is tell them where to find you if they want to reach out to you.
I'm easy to find, MikeDaviesFitness.com. That's my website. Couple things that I do that you could get a real good taste of who I am and what I do is Mike Davies Fitness Universe app on iTunes and Google. It's an interactive app. I've got workouts on there. I post my boot camp classes. My abs and ass classes go up every week. I've got an index of exercises that I use, 302 videos. I do Minute with Mike every day. Well, just about every day where, I'll throw down a thought. Just like we just talking about today, I'll just throw down a thought. A lot of stuff like that. I share some of my life on there as well. Like today, I just posted a video of me upstairs playing with dolls with my 5-year-old. So I'm thinking, am I playing with dolls right now? I am, aren't I? We're having a doll wedding upstairs right before I came down to do this with you on Zoom. But it's a cool thing. It's a great way for me to connect with people and stay in touch with my clients throughout the country and throughout the world, So I love that. Right now, you were talking about what should people be doing. I do Zoom classes 4 days a week, Monday at 7, Wednesday at 7, Thursday at 7 and 8 a.m. If you want to be a part of that, you can hit me up and I'll tell you how to get involved. That's about it. I'm pretty easy to find. I feel like I'm on the old guard now. It's the older guys are like me, Kim Odo, Chris Aceto, Chad Nichols, Charles Glass. We're the old guard. And sometimes a lot of these new kids don't even know who we are. And I just kind of chuckle and laugh. I'm like, okay. I still turned I don't know how many people pro last year. Quite a few. I'm still turning people pro and still having a great time and still going out to these I still go out to the beginner shows. I still go roll into a show with 15 or 16 athletes like we used to do back in the day and go there and, put it down and have a great time and watch. I love watching the newbies. I mean, that shit is fun for me. I love it. I love taking new girls to shows and watching them and new guys and seeing how they respond. And, because you can tell a lot about them where they're going to go in this sport. They're going to be one and done or they're going to be lifers,
I want to chime in and say, if you didn't have shows or events at the same times as ours, you should come out for November. Come out and see the Max Muscle show in November.
Max, where is that? Go ahead and pitch it. Where is it? Roanoke? Where's the Max Muscle show?
Northern Virginia. So, I mean, it would be a great trip for you to bring out your kids and come see Washington, D.C.
That's like a 5-hour drive for us. That's not bad. And I'll tell you what, this year with the lack of shows and how many shows have gotten canceled, these later shows in the year, I think we're going to get loaded up. Because I know I've got people just dying to compete. I got people that are sitting around ready right now. Okay, I got a dude sitting on his couch probably watching this show right now who I know I could throw on stage tomorrow. I've got a lot of those people because we were getting ready for shows in May. A lot of my people were doing a show on April 23rd and then going to May 9th and then going on the Julie show June 6th and then heading to the Nationals, heading to Junior Nationals or Junior USAs, or probably going over in May and doing Pittsburgh. I had a whole bunch of people lined up to do that. And right now we're all in limbo.
Oh, we were trying to figure out how to host it at my backyard. If people wanted to come out, we were going to build a stage and do everything if we needed to.
You need spectators, trust me, because the whole Arnold thing with no spectators was brutal. Had that big, beautiful stage and had 700 athletes and not one spectator. All you had was the judges, and this you had a huge pack of media people behind them. It was, and kudos to the competitors because you know what, they didn't let it bother them. They just, you know what, they did the work. They wanted to get on stage. They wanted to be judged, and God bless them for all of it. Because I tell you what, not a one of them bitched. I didn't get any complaints because once they got out there on that big, beautiful stage and looked out in that venue, even though it was empty. I mean, it's still an amazing experience, you know, and I hope to get a lot of them back so they can really get, you know, the full experience of having, you know, 2,500 people in the crowd while they walk across that stage or whatever.
Yeah. The Arnold experience, I think, is one of the best one. As a competitor, I would say go watch it, go see it, go experience it. When I was competing, they didn't have the amateur Arnold. But I think, you know, go experience it, go see it, and just enjoy everything that it has to offer. Yeah, so, Victoria, let's do your last giveaway, which actually comes from Mike.
Yes, perfect. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. If you ever decide to visit Virginia, we will do Mike Davies Fitness Boot Camp. So just let us know when. We'll make it happen.
And do that. I should travel around the country and do boot camps, man. If you want to get 20 people together for a weekend, I will gladly come down and kick everybody's ass. I'll wipe out.
That's a great idea.
Corry and I did that before.
Great idea. And yes, I will testify to the app, the cardio app and Mike Davies Fitness app. It's amazing source. It's basically like encyclopedia of the bodybuilding. And my favorite part is to be able to connect to Mike personally because he's not local coach. I can't really see him every day, but just to watch his videos and him sharing his thoughts on the everyday life, his personal experience, and just his knowledge. That's probably my favorite part. I listen to it every day. So, and like little cherry on the cake, we're gonna give away Mike Davies personalized apparel. And who is gonna be the winner?
You have 1 through 48 to choose from.
Mike, how about you give us a number?
I'll give you my numbers. Favorite number is 11.
Number 11.
Go here. I can't include us, can I? Darn it. 1, 2, 3. That would be Tonya Casey.
Oh, I know that chick. I love TC.
Okay.
What up, TC? You just won you some tradition. Tradition of crop top. That'll work. I know exactly who that woman is. Good lady. She drives all the way here from like 2 hours away to train with me on Saturdays.
Awesome.
I love it. Good choice, Mike.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you so much, everyone. It was amazing, and I really enjoyed just sitting here and listening, Mike, for an hour. I can listen to Mike every day.
No,
we could probably go for a good 2 hours.
Listen, for all those new competitors and stuff on there, man, keep supporting shows like this. Keep going out there and getting good knowledge, okay? Seek out the good people, the good knowledge, okay? Listen, when you're out there picking coaches or you're picking people or even picking gyms, you know, take the time to pick the right thing. Pick the match for you. I tell people all the time, first time I ever met, listen, I'm not for everyone. I get that. I'm totally okay with that. I mean, I'm rough, rugged, and raw. If you don't want to hear the truth, don't ask me the fucking question, okay? If you're that girl who needs constant hand-holding, and I'm not your guy, And I understand that. I don't take that personal. You know, it's just one of those things, you guys. Do your homework when you're working with people. Find out what they're capable of. Find out what their pedigree is. Find out what their philosophy is. Find out what their expectations are. Okay? And if it's a good match for you, go with it. And if it's not, then it's not. And, you know, seek out that next person who's going to work for you. All right? That's the one thing that young competitors do. They all jump into stuff and they don't do any, you know, they don't do any research on somebody. Just, well, I know this guy and he, you know, this girl turned pro, or, you know, his girls win. And then they get into it. Like the guy's pushing drugs on them, or, you know, things you're not going to agree with or want to do. You know, do your homework and do your due diligence before you, you know, get too far into this. Okay. You've got a lot of time, energy, and money spent, and you're standing there with nothing. Okay. And if people don't want to tell you the truth about themselves, or they don't want to share with you what their philosophies are, or what, you know, they expect of you, then they're probably not going to be the right fit. You know, we as coaches have the responsibility. And, you know, and if any coach out there isn't going to put your health first and foremost, run. Because you can get really messed up in this sport. And there's a lot of people who do. They truly do. So.
You can. And it wreaks havoc on the body, and it can wreak havoc on the mind. So make sure you're checking in with a coach who can do that. We tell people all the time, interview your coaches just like you would.
But listen, give that coach an opportunity by listening. Okay. Look, I've had girls, you know, work with me and stuff, and then binge eat, and me never know it. Don't tell me, don't disclose it. They're out there binge eating, they're doing things, you know, binge eat and then go do 5 hours of cardio. Okay, you cannot work stupid. You all know that. I say it all the time. You know, don't do that. You cannot work stupid. Do what it says. Good things will happen. Okay, when those two things go, if I'm responsible for your health, then let me be responsible for my health. If you're going to take that in your own hands and just do what you want to do and morph it with what I'm asking you to do, I mean, that can be a recipe for disaster. You know, and don't make soup out. You know, don't make science out of soup. This shit's easy. Doesn't have to be difficult. And when somebody wants to bedazzle you with all their science and all their knowledge, man, chuckle and laugh. Okay, this is a sport. This is a martyr sport. This is a sport of hard work and dedication. Okay, if you don't want to be that person, then don't be that person. Go to the gym and work out and be healthy and look hot, and, you know, get ready for the bedroom Olympics. All right. Nothing wrong with that.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Mike, so much for joining us today. We could probably go on for another 2 hours and go back and forth with, especially with all the knowledge over the years. So thank you on behalf of all of us for joining us. Everybody to make sure that they join in next week with us for our Mid-Atlantic chairman from the NPC, Gary Udit. And we'll still be doing this up through the time that we are all allowed to go back to the gym and back to our regular shows, posing clinics, and everything else that we've got. So thank you guys and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.